Bret Bielema and Illini football add another to their 2026 class, and this time it's a flip.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. My name is Sunny Verma, your host here at Locked On Illini, where I continue to provide you coverage daily. That's right, every single day of the orange and blue, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Only thing I ask for in return is if you can make sure you hit the like button on this particular video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It just lets me know that you're still watching and that it's worth, look, it's the off season, right? But there's no such thing as an off season on this channel. So I'm going to continue to try to make content for you guys each and every day, as long as I know you guys are still watching. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Illinois football and how they continue to ride serious momentum on the 2026 recruiting trail. And their latest victory, I think it's another big one. Bret Bielema and his staff have flipped Jaylen Stewart, a top Texas edge rusher who was previously committed to Oklahoma State. The kid, I think, is going to be high upside, a high impact defender from one of the more competitive regions in the country. And now he's headed to Champaign. We're going to break down what makes Jaylen Stewart such a valuable get, how he fits into the Illini defense, and what this flip tells us about Illinois' growing national footprint, especially, and very importantly, in Texas. Let's dive in. So Jaylen Stewart is a 6'3", 230-pound edge rusher out of Pearland High School in Texas, one of the top football regions in the entire country. He's rated a 3-star prospect on 24/7 and on 3, and depending on the service, ranks anywhere between top 75 to top 100 edge rushers nationally, and just outside top 125 overall players in Texas. And we know, again, when you talk about the state of Texas, that absolutely means something. This is a guy who had over a dozen Power 4 offers, including Arizona, USC, Auburn, Baylor, Kansas, Pitt. The list goes on. And he had committed to Oklahoma State, a stable, successful program under Mike Gundy since February. And that makes this flip, to me, even more impressive. Bret Bielema and linebackers coach Archie McDaniel got him on campus for an official visit in early June. And by the end of the trip, Illinois had pulled off this steal. Let's talk real quick about why the staff pushed so hard for Jaylen Stewart and what kind of player they're getting. If you take a look at his tape on YouTube, he looks like an athletic freak. He plays both edge rusher and running back for Pearland, and that alone tells you the kind of explosiveness an athlete like that can bring. As a junior, Stewart recorded 52 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks. His first step, and again, I urge you all to watch this on whether it's Huddle or YouTube, it's lethal. He explodes off the ball. This is a guy who times the snap very, very well, and he kind of dips his shoulder with his great bend and flattens towards the quarterback in a quick hurry. But he's not just a finesse guy either. He's got strong hands, good length, and he's not afraid to take on contact. He's fighting through blocks. I saw him contain, and closes quickly in pursuit. His football IQ looks to be really strong. And you can tell he understands leverage, angles, and how to set up pass rush moves. A smart, relentless defender. I think from what I've gathered, whether it's from other sources, it seems like Stewart projects to be a fox outside linebacker in Aaron Henry's defense. They're kind of that hybrid edge defender who can rush with his hand in the dirt and stand up on the edge and drop into coverage simultaneously. And Illinois has a track record now of developing players just like that. Perfect example, take a look at what they're doing with Gabe Yakis. And Stewart reminds some recruiting analysts of a freshman Eric Gale. They're building a pipeline of bendy, twitchy pass rushers who can play in space or crash downhill. What makes Stewart exciting is that his physical traits are already advanced, but his ceiling is still really high. He's going to need to bulk up, and that's true of most high school edges, but the burst and the bend are already there. The commitment is more than just about the player. It's a continued sign of the program growth. Illinois now has 2 Texas high school prospects in the class of 2026, Stewart and linebacker Caden Cobbs. Both were recruited heavily by Power 4 schools, and both chose to trust Bret Bielema and come to Illinois. That's a huge credit to not just Bret, but Archie McDaniel and wide receivers coach Justin Stepp, who was leading the charge in Texas. And frankly, it's a pretty bold statement. Illinois has built its foundation on Midwest recruiting, and that won't necessarily change. But to go into Texas and arguably the most talent-rich and competitive states in the country, and flip a guy from a Big 12 school and had SEC suitors, again, we're talking about the Illinois recruiting at a completely different level. It's also a sign that Illinois itself, I described Oklahoma State earlier as a long, stable, appealing program. Guess what? Illinois is showing itself to be a stable, appealing program. Jaylen Stewart was committed to Mike Gundy, one of the most longest tenured coaches in all of college football, but he chose to come to Bret Bielema. He chose to come to the Illini because he sees what Bret Bielema is building with the Illini. So let's try to project forward a little bit maybe. Jaylen Stewart is not a plug-and-play year one guy, and he's got a lot of room to grow. And you know what? That's okay, because he has the tools, but he's going to need a year or two in the strength and conditioning program to add more functional size. But once he does, watch out. He's got the pass rush toolkit. What he'll need to develop are more of the counter moves, better hand usage, and more consistency with block shedding. In the run game, you want to see continued growth in play recognition and anchoring the edge. But the good news is he's already showing a willingness to play physically. He doesn't take plays off. He's not shying away from contact, and he's coachable. That's a combination that leads to real production down the line, especially here at Illinois with the coaching staff that we have. Jaylen Stewart becomes the 19th commitment in Illinois' 2026 class. 19, wow. We're in mid-June, and Illinois already has 19 commitments in 2026. And this group continues to just get better. We're talking about Nazir Ranking, RJ Jones, Will Vala, King Liggins, Grant Bierman, Eric Gale, John Forster, and now Jaylen Stewart joining that defensive wave. This class it's athletic, it's physical, it's deep. Right now, it's ranked among the top 15 in the country, top 5 in the Big Ten. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Top 5 in the Big Ten Conference, top 15 in the entire country. The University of Illinois Fighting Illini. That's uncharted territory in the modern era of recruiting. But when you continue to stack recruiting wins like this, flipping guys from Oklahoma State, from Louisville, from Purdue, Wisconsin, Kentucky, it continues to show real momentum. Jaylen Stewart is not just a nice ad. He's another building block to a class that I honestly think could reshape the program. So let's sum it up real quick. Illinois goes into Texas and flips a high upside pass rusher from Oklahoma State. Jaylen Stewart brings athleticism, explosiveness, and the kind of upside that fits perfectly in the Illini defense. He's another example of Bret Bielema building his roster with versatile, coachable, and competitive athletes who can grow in the system. If you're excited about this commitment or the 2026 class overall, let me know in a comment below. Who's your favorite player so far in this class? And do you see any other flips coming? Let me know. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs, the intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere that you must experience live. And this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop as you get closer to tip-off. And with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Game Time is a total game changer. My favorite part about Game Time is I know that with the Game Time guarantee, I know I'm getting the best deal. If I find a better price in the same row and section, they're going to credit me 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Illini, a daily podcast of your Fighting Illini. Of course, I'm your host, Sonny Verma. And next up, we're going to be discussing a huge change coming out from the world of college football video games. And yes, it could actually impact the University of Illinois' bottom line. We're talking the EA Sports College Football 26 video game and a new royalty payment system that could put real money in the hands of the schools based on how often the games and the gamers are playing as them. So if you're tired of all the big time blue bloods getting all the money, well, then pay attention to this segment. Let's break it down. In past years, EA Sports used a tiered system to determine how much each school gets paid for being in the game. The schools were built into 4 groups based on their historical success over the last decade. Basically, the more often your team finished in the AP Top 25 over the past 10 years, the higher tier and the more money you got. So a school like Alabama or Ohio State was guaranteed nearly $100,000 in royalty payments just for showing up in the game. Meanwhile, schools like Illinois, who didn't make that list consistently, were stuck in tier 3 or tier 4, getting $10,000, maybe up to $40,000 at most. But that model is now gone, starting with College Football 26. EA Sports is going to pay schools based on one simple factor. How often do people actually choose to play as your team in the game? So, if 1 million people play as Illinois, and that's just 1% of all the games played across the country, then Illinois gets 1% of the royalty pool. So if EA sets aside $5 million for schools, Illinois will get $50,000 just by being a fan favorite team to play with. It's basically a pay for play system. And for schools that know how to engage their fan base, this could be a huge opportunity. All right, let's bring this home. So why does this matter to Illinois? First, because Illinois has one of the most energized and engaged and growing fan bases in the Big Ten, especially online. We've seen it in merch, YouTube, Twitter, and recruiting buzz. The fan base is showing up. So if that fan base can now start playing as Illinois in this game, it can actually really benefit the program financially. If Illini Nation gets behind this, if tens of thousands of fans to choose to play as Illinois when they log in to play, that can help boost the university's royalty share. And that money, it goes straight to the athletic department. That's not just theory. With this change, smaller or mid-tier schools that have diehard fans online can actually stand to benefit more than the traditional powers who may be slipping a bit in popularity or don't get chosen as often in the game. And don't forget, the better and more exciting your team is in real life, the more likely people are going to choose to play them in the game. Illinois just landed multiple blue chip prospects in that 2026 class. Bret Bielema's defense is stacking up with talent. Look, Illinois is returning 18 of 22 starters. A lot of people are going to like to pick Illinois just because of that veteran presence that will always come in handy in video games like this. So let's zoom out a bit. EA's new system also gives schools another angle in the NIL game. Because this money doesn't go to players directly, it goes to schools. But if Illinois can boost its royalty share, that can mean more resources for things like facilities, like coaching staff salaries, or like NIL collectives that help retain players. Think about it for a second. If you're trying to keep a rising star wide receiver from jumping into the transfer portal, and you have extra funds because your team just happens to be one of the more popular ones in college football 26, hey, guess what? That matters. It all changes how programs might think about branding. Expect more schools to promote themselves in the game. You might start seeing social media campaigns that say, choose Illinois in EA Sports, or Twitch streamers repping the Illini because the gameplay translates into royalties now. This also levels the playing field for schools like Illinois that are trending upward. No more being boxed out of Tier 1 payouts because you weren't on ESPN every Saturday for the past decade. It's about what you do now and how your fans are interacting with your program today. So what's the takeaway? If you're an Illinois football fan, you can now support the program in a very 2025 way by playing as the Illini in EA Sports College Football 26. Seriously, every time you load up the game and win a Big Ten title with Illinois, you're actually helping the actual team get paid. And for Bret Bielema and company, this is just one more reason to keep building a team that people are excited about. Look, I get it. It's just a video game, and some of my audience may not be interested in that. But in this new era of NIL, realignment, and digital monetization, everything matters. Even the team that you pick on your PlayStation 5. If Illinois keeps trending up, this could be fun and also potentially a profitable development to watch. You let me know. Do you already have the new EA Sports College Football on pre-order? If you're older, maybe your kids do. Obviously, incentivize them. Let them know, hey, I'll buy you the game. Just make sure I want to see you be playing as the Fighting Illini. I bought last year's version, and I realized that my quick twitches and my response time, it's over, and it's about time I retire from college sports. But seeing this, now all of a sudden, I'm actually reconsidering whether maybe I will end up buying EA Sports College Football 26. Let me know what your plans are and if you plan on playing as the Illini. A couple news and notes before I let you go on today's episode. A special congratulations to Trent Frazier, who apparently over the weekend got married. Brad Underwood shared a story, and you saw some familiar faces in the picture that Brad Underwood shared. You saw Tyler Underwood, you saw DeMonte Williams, and a couple other very familiar faces in that picture. Look, I'll say it again. Trent Frazier, to me, unfortunately, he's not going to get the accolades and maybe the banner raising that in my heart I feel like he deserves, but he was one of the lone sparks of a time when Illinois basketball was at its lowest. I tuned in to watch Trent Frazier play, and the fact that he stuck around with Brad, and now you see this happen, X amount of years later, Brad Underwood at his wedding, you feel comfortable knowing that, Trent feels like he made the right decision in sticking with his commitment to the Illini. And me, a lifelong Illini fan, I'm eternally grateful for him. And again, wanted to wish him congratulations on his wedding. I did also want to mention that Illini baseball hired Dylan Napoleon as pitching coach. He served a very similar role for Western Kentucky. So congratulations to Dylan and welcome to the Illinois family. Also, a special congratulations to Vanessa DiBernardo, former Illini women's soccer player. She became the 5th player to reach 200 regular season appearances in the NWSL. That's right. We cover every sport here at Locked On Illini. You let me know that you're interested. And how can you do that? However you want. You can find me on your favorite social medias at Locked On Illini. I have control of all of those accounts, or you can find me at the Sunny V on Twitter. You can email me at talkillini@gmail.com. What might be the best place is the Discord. The link should be in the description. We have over 300 fans, Illini fans, all across the country talking Illini sports each and every day. Look, it's the off season, and your Uncle Jerry may not be interested in what you think the football team is going to look like next year right now. He may be waiting for fall. Leave Uncle Jerry alone. Come join the Discord. Click on the link in the description, and you can talk to other Illini fans all day, every day. Thank you so much for making Locked On Illini your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes of the college football landscape. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Friendly reminder, this week, at the end of this week, on Friday, is going to be the official first Locked On Illini community get-together. The Cubs will be playing the Seattle Mariners at 1:20 on Friday, and I'll be there, as will a lot of other members of this community. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to be there. If you need details, we're all basically going to be sitting in the bleachers section, so feel free to buy a ticket. You know, in the bleachers, you don't have to worry about being able to sit next to each other. Buy a ticket if you're able to make it. It would be great to see you there. But again, if you have any questions, send me an email at talkillini@gmail.com. I can send you details. Join the Discord, whichever you prefer. It's going to be a great week. I got a whole bunch of content lined up for you. By the way, I do want to mention Nick Hankins, a big target for the Illini, is going to be announcing on June 19th, which is this week, which is Thursday, what his eventual destination is going to be for college football. I did drop a nugget in the Discord, because there's certain information I'm not allowed to make public. So again, join the Discord for nothing else if you want those type of nuggets, as I've continued to give on the basketball side. This time I got one on the football side. So until next time, ILL. Love you guys.